Hey, welcome back, football fans. This is the PrepZone Preview Playoff Edition, brought to you by Naples Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, we got the entire crew together today. We're going to set up all the games that are going on here this week in Southwest Florida. Now, since we're out at South right now, let's start off with them.
Well, South plays Lake Gibson, and I think this is going to be one of the more competitive games in the area. Lake Gibson's 8-2. Both of their losses very close. They're a big, physical football team. Now, they give up a lot of points, but they score a lot of points, and they're very balanced. I like this ball game. I think this one is a toss-up right down to the wire.
Okay. Now, other big team in the area is Naples. We weren't, expecting a super big year, but they've had a lot of big wins this year, and they're carrying a lot of momentum in the postseason.
A lot of momentum. They just beat an IMG team who's a sports powerhouse. They're a new program, IMG is, but still a big win this past week for Naples. First time in the playoffs, they got a team coming in, kind of an unfamiliar team, Palm Bay Bayside, but we're going to see a familiar face over there at Naples. Jared Ackley, former Immokalee coach who led them to the state finals last year, he coaches Bayside. He's led them to a 7-3 record, tied the school record for most regular season wins. It's similar to what we saw in Immokalee last year. Love to air out the ball, but they can also run it pretty well. So I talked to Ackley today, and he's excited to be back. Naples, however, at home, they don't lose in the playoffs, so you got to like them.
Now, speaking of Immokalee, this is a team loaded with talent, and they've kind of seemed to put it together in this last half. What do we have in store for them?
Well, they've played much better the last 3 weeks. They play a Cardinal Gibbons team that loves to throw the football, and I think the advantage because of that goes to Immokalee, because I think that's Immokalee's strength is their secondary. If you're going to beat Immokalee, you've got to run the football. Gibbons has 3 big wide receivers, and they're going to air the football out every time they have it. I like the Indians, especially at home.
Okay. Now, we have a small dynasty in the making here in the 2A district. Talk about what FBA's got to do to, really take that next step into a perennial powerhouse.
Well, they're getting there. This is the year they kind of proved that they've built a program. Last year was their 4th year. They went undefeated through the regular season, won a district championship, but they had a crew of 4-year seniors that really guided them. Lost all of that, lost a lot of talent, a lot of new starters. Here they are again at 9-1. Their only loss, a close one at Immokalee. So they're hosting a Tampa Carrollwood Day team who they lost a lot as well. They're not quite as good as they were last year. Neither is First Baptist, but both are still good. These two teams played last year in the regional championship game. First Baptist won 56-28. First Baptist has them at home this year in the 2A regional semifinals, and they're going to do what they do. They're going to run, throw it pretty well this year, and they just got to play defense.
Now, on the runner-ups, Estero. This is a team that it's kind of hard to put a finger on, but out of that mix of those not Naples teams in that district, they managed to come out on top. What do they have to do to get to that second round?
Well, I think this is the best coaching job in the whole area. That the Estero Wildcats were the runner-up in 6A. They have done a tremendous job, but they've got a mighty task at hand. They play Palm Beach Heritage, who has shut 6 people out. They've only given up 64 points for the year, and they've scored 420. But that's why you play the game, and in the playoffs, anything can happen. But I think the Wildcats have got a tough go traveling to Palm Bay.
Now, speaking of one of those teams that kind of managed to emerge here in the last half, we got Lely, which, through the first half of the season, we weren't even expecting them to really get a win, but here they are in the playoffs. I mean, what do they have to do now?
Lely, man, the biggest surprise of the second half of the season. They started 0-5, and like you said, hey, here's Lely again. They went 1-9 last year. All of a sudden, they've won 4 out of their past 5. They were 2 minutes away from winning at Immokalee, winning a district championship, and winning 5 in a row going into the playoffs. But they're on the road. They're at Plantation, American Heritage, one of the top powerhouse teams in the state. American Heritage, a few years ago, they won 3 titles in the span of 6 years. They have the number 2 running back in the country, according to Rivals.com. Sonny Mitchell, he's committed to Georgia. They're 9-1. American Heritage's only loss is to Miami Central, who might be the best team in the state. So Lely has a work cut out for him. But, going over there, even getting in this game is a huge step for Colmer St. Jean, a first-year coach there. It's going to be a tough uphill battle, but, just being there, like I said, for Lely is a good accomplishment.
All right. Now, one last playoff game. It's not the typical kind of playoff system, but we got Community School, who's working for a perfect season this year, and they're going to go across the state over to Oxbridge Academy, which also has the makings of a powerhouse kind of program going.
Yeah, Community School is the only undefeated team in Southwest Florida. Of course, they don't play in the FHSAA. They're an independent this year, so their independent conference championship game is Thursday. It's on Thursday night over in West Palm Beach at Oxbridge Academy, and it's another team that it's a private school. Got to have a lot of money to go there, and they're just dumping piles of cash into that football team. It's a second-year football team, but they're just rolling over people. So Damon Jones knows they have the work cut out for him, but I mean, this is Drew Tomani's last game, 7,000 career passing yards. You got to figure he's psyched up for this one.
Now, Coach, you've been in a bunch of big games over your coaching career. What do all of these teams in general have to do to make sure that they can keep playing at this time of year?
You've got to play fundamentally sound, and you've got to understand that this is a one-game season. You cannot go in flat to any game, because teams will do that, and then they realize that we're done if we get beat. They have got to go in playing as well as they can play, and you got to have a lot of luck.
Well, hey, everyone, that is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in today and all season. We much appreciate it. Don't forget, if you need a car, truck, van, make sure you check out our sponsors at Naples Dodge Chrysler Jeep. They've been so good to us. They are part of the reason that we are able to do this every week for you. And don't forget, all week we're going to have you covered with news, notes, analysis, videos, photos, all the way through the playoffs. As long as the teams are still alive, so are we. Unfortunately, this is going to be our last show for the season, but don't forget, we've got everything that you'll possibly need, plus the Friday night chat, where we're going to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. And until next season, we'll got you covered.